So I got a question for you. Anybody ever lie? Be honest. Who do you think you lie to the most, though? Do we lie to our boss? Sir, I'm sick today. I can't make it, but I'm going to the lake. Do we ever lie to our kids? We say, well, I'll think about it. And we all know deep in our soul that's never going to happen. How about our parents? Any of you kids ever lie to your parents? Wasn't me, sir. He already knew, by the way. How about your friends? Man, I'm too busy. I can't help you move this weekend. Iowa State's playing football. Come on now. How about if you're on social media followers, which unfortunately I have, lots of them. You appear to be so happy. You get to let the world see what you want them to see. But inside you're anxious, you're depressed, you're lonely, and you feel left out of just about everything. But really, who do you think you lie to the most? Studies say the person you lie to the most is actually you. You tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, but you have no intention of doing it. I love the one that said, if my wife told me to do it, she doesn't need to remind me every 6 months to get it done. Because we never intend to do it. How about I could stop at any time? This used to be me when I was drinking. I could stop whenever I want. Never did. Couldn't. Man, when we ask how you're doing, you say, I'm fine. But you're not. Yeah, I remember I was a dude too. I know how it goes. You say you don't care, but inside you really do. You say it's not a big deal. And men, if your wife ever tells you it's not a big deal, don't believe them, it is. It is. Jeremiah 17:9 says this, the human heart is the most deceitful of all things and desperately wicked. Who really knows how bad it is? That's sobering, isn't it? This is the reason that people struggle to change. They focus on changing the external habit. We focus on changing the external behavior to either get more or to stop procrastinating, or I'm going to read my Bible, or I'm going to eat better, I'm going to start exercising. I've told myself all these lies in the last year. I'm going to stop yelling. The problem is we're focused on the outside. Where are behaviors born? Born in the heart, my friends. They're born right here. Before it comes out of my mouth, it's already come here. My friends, if you want to change your life, you have to first change your habits. If you want to change your habits, you have to let God change your heart. Many of us have been in churches our whole lives. And sadly, we don't look a lot different from the person that walked into the church the first time 25 years ago. Because the habits and stuff, we haven't let God change. We haven't let Him change our heart enough that the habits really change. Maybe a couple, but not all of it. So we got a series here. We're going to break this down a little bit. Today is talking about self-examination. Because as I tell my lovely girls in the back there, when they don't communicate, then something turns into a crisis. If you don't tell me it's broke, I can't fix it. If you don't realize that you got a problem, there's no way you can fix said problem. The next one we're going to talk about is the habit of simplicity. Could anybody stand to simplify their life a little bit? How about the habit of solitude? She talked about the noise. How about the habit of sorrow? Anybody stuck in a world of sorrow? How about the habit of slowing down? Could anybody afford to slow down just a hair? I can name about 70% of the people I know that can afford to do that, me included. Psalms 139, 23 and 24 says this, "Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there's any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." Over time, David starts to understand this. You got to remember where he's at. He's prosperous. He's lying to himself. I've got all this together. But he's discovering this scripture in one of the lowest points in his life. Listen to 2 Samuel 2:11 here. "In the spring of that year, when the kings normally go out to war, David sent Joab and the Israelite army to fight the Ammonites. However, David stayed behind in Jerusalem." Uh-oh. He told himself, "I fought enough." Anybody ever tell themselves, "I've done enough? I deserve a break. I'm the king. I need to stay safe so I can take care of my people." Then he decides to go up on the roof and have a drink. When he's supposed to be at war with his boys, he's up on the roof. And he sees this beautiful woman taking a bath. Now, why she was taking a bath outside in the nude, I'm not getting there today. But if David had been where he was supposed to be, the woman wouldn't have been an issue. So he sends for her. I got to know this girl. She's something special. First mistake. Second mistake is he slept with her. Oops. Just happened. He only did it one time. Nobody will know. No one's going to find out. Nothing bad's going to happen. It's just once. Surprise, she wound up pregnant. Now he panics. He finds out that she's the wife of Uriah, one of his better soldiers. And he calls him home. He says, gets him a little tipsy. He says, "Go sleep with your wife." He had honor. He says, "I'm not sleeping with my wife. My guys are out there dying." Remember, he sleeps on her front porch. He doesn't even go in the house. David can't deal with that. He's got to cover up his mess. So the sin of not being where you're supposed to be led to the sin of him being on a roof where he wasn't supposed to be, led to the sin of him sleeping with somebody, getting her pregnant. Now he's about to really screw it up. He's like, well, if he ain't going to do that, he's got to die. Sends him to the front. He orders him to be sent to the front of the lines where he would surely die, and sure enough, he died. He abused his power. He violated Bathsheba. He committed adultery. He wrecked a family. He murdered Uriah. He had a baby that now gets sick and dies. David didn't even recognize his own sin. He didn't recognize where he went wrong. And I'm here to tell you that we are all masters of self-deception. When something goes wrong in our lives, 95% of the times, our first thought, at least, and maybe words, why me? Anybody? Why me? Psychologists call this cognitive bias. There, my wife would be happy I use a psychological term. But the Bible calls it flattering themselves, deceiving, and a deluded heart. Psalms 36:2 says this, "In their own eyes they flatter themselves too much to detect or hate their sin." You love yourself so much that there couldn't be anything wrong with me. I'm a pastor. I'm a board member. I sing on a praise team. No. You're a hot mess. It's okay. We all are. It's good. See, my research on self-deceptions gave me 5 ways it manifests itself. Let's talk about them. First one is addiction to distraction. We distract ourselves. We refuse to face the truth about ourselves. Meanwhile, we're struggling with pornography, We can't get enough of the news. We become addicted to it. We can't get enough work in our life. We're addicted to scrolling all day long. We're alcoholics and drug addicts. And if we truly face ourselves, we would know that. But we don't. The next one's called manic cheeriness. I like this one. Life's great. Everything is awesome. The minute you say that, I'm suspicious. Because everything's not always awesome. How about judgmentalism? Anybody ever been a judgmental person? I love my brothers and sisters in Christ, but this is probably the biggest problem in the church overall. The big church. We judge others, but we're vulnerable to the same issue. I'm going to tell you, if somebody's judging somebody all the time on the same thing, chances are they got something very similar in their background. Our outrage at their sin blinds us to our own vulnerabilities. It blinds us that we're probably doing the same thing that we're mad at them about. How about defensiveness? Anybody ever get offended? Probably about every time I preach. Any suggestion that we have a problem makes you mad. It couldn't be our fault. I don't have a problem. It's his fault. It's her fault. It's their fault. It's not mine. I'm perfect. Anybody a bit cynical? I find this with people that have been church hurt and are trying to come back. They suffer from cynicism. Everything's wrong. Everyone else is the problem, not me. David deceived himself on many occasions, and his life begins to fall apart. Listen to 1 Samuel 2:12. When God sent Nathan the prophet to David to tell a story of a lamb, which basically the dude raised the lamb. A rich farmer came, and instead of sacrificing his own lambs, he took this lamb over here and sacrificed it. And he's sitting here saying, he tells this story. And David said, bring that guy before me and I'll punish him justly. He deserves to die. Then here's what Nathan says to David. Nathan said to David, you are the man. You took a lamb that belonged to another man. And you took her as your own when it wasn't yours to take. And then to cover your mess up, you killed somebody. At that moment, he knows he's screwed up. So my question to you is, what are you denying? What problem do you have that you're denying? What sin are you rationalizing in your life? What sin am I rationalizing in my life? What are we hiding that we don't want anybody else to know? And trust me, I don't need to know, but God already knows. Is it a secret addiction? Whether it's pornography. And believe me, pornography is just as rife in the church as it is outside the church. Studies say that 1 in 6 pastors is addicted to pornography. 1 in 6. Are we too close? Do we flirt too much? Are we overeating, overspending? Are we doing all this? Are we numbing ourselves out? Because we're screaming, but we don't need help. But we really do. When I talk about look around during joys and concerns, I want you to understand that there are people here that have been in boats that you're sitting in. And they got out of them at some point in time. If you'll trust a few of these people, maybe they can help you navigate those seas. I'm pretty good with alcoholics. I'm not good with some of the other stuff. I'm pretty good with the addicts, though, because birds of a feather. But some of y'all have been through some wars. And some of us young people are going through those same wars, but we refuse to let anybody see inside of our prism and hold us accountable and hopefully help us grow from that. Now, with that said, if you are one of these more mature believers and they confide in you, it's not your job to tell Larry, Jimmy, and Joe in this building. Ladies, if they confide in you, it's not your job to make it a gossip circle. They're trusting you with something that's deep and dark in their life. Your job is to pray for them, and the only conversation you need to have other than with her or him is God. Because if you start spreading stuff, then we're going to have a conversation, and it probably won't be a real friendly one. Because dissension's not what happens here. This is not a rumor mill. It's a place of worship and accountability. Watch for what other people have tried to tell you sometimes. These are warning signs. More than 2 people tell you love you, or they tell you you have a problem, you should probably start listening. You're working too much. You're not present. You live on your phone. You're playing too many video games. You drink every night. You dress immodestly. You can't say no, and you're a people pleaser. Those are just some of the ones I could think of. Pretty much everybody in here can do one of those. There's about 2 on there, 2 or 3 on there for me. When you ask God to search your heart, though, watch out. He may tell you some stuff you didn't want to know. He may have other people tell you, you got a problem. That's okay. That's okay. As long as they're not spreading it all over the church and they're telling you, that's fine. Second one is, watch how you rationalize sin. It's shocking how good we are at rationalizing. We are... The driver's on the side of the road broke down. Well, it's not a big deal. He can handle this. Not hurting anyone. It's not my problem. I know what I'm doing. Think of another problem. He wouldn't do what I would do anyway. If you didn't act the way you do, you'd be a lot better off. How have others tried to tell you that you're on the wrong track? But more importantly, watch how you rationalize it if they do. How many people somebody's held them accountable that they really loved and trusted, and they got mad and won't talk to them anymore? Watch how you get on the defensive, because this is where we get on the defensive. I don't have a problem. Leave me alone. Boy, that takes me back. It's really none of your business, sir. Really none of your business, ma'am. It's my life. If you have young adults, you've heard that one. If the more you're convinced that you don't have a problem of any sort, the more likely the chance is you probably have a problem. Don't get mad at me. God took me to the woodshed first. Been a pastor for 6 years, roughly. But I've been in some form of ministry for close to 25. Whether it was working with children, whether it was working with youth, teaching young adult Sunday school classes, teaching Sunday school classes that had people that you wouldn't think belonged in a church building was really fun because they had some interesting thoughts on theology. People told me, and even y'all told me, you work too much. You don't ever rest. I love you. I still don't rest very much. But I rest a little. And of course, I get on the defensive. I'm just doing what Jesus called me to do. I'm just doing what I was called to do, guys. And then lately, I'm realizing I'm a lot more tired. And basically for months, I got to do something about it. I mean, I would do some things that are adrenaline producing, but then again, I'm not as healthy as I used to be, so that's probably not a really good idea to go bungee jumping or skydiving or, I'd probably forget to pull the parachute or something. But when people bring it up, I feel insulted sometimes. I get a little perturbed, angry. I don't know why. And God broke it down to me. He says, you're just a little bit too prideful, son. Yeah, I had to sit in that office and repent a little bit. I'm a little bit too prideful sometimes. I think what a lot of type A type personalities have, if I don't do it, it just won't get done. And he says, you got a church full of people, son. Start trusting them. So, if I ask you to do something, it's because God's kicked my tail already. Okay? I love you. I mean, how do you know you really have a problem? I started ignoring the people that love me. I mean, had somebody tell me you need some help, and I kind of fired them, went and asked somebody to tell me what I wanted to hear. Anybody ever do that? Hey, you need the counselor tells you need to fix this. Well, that was wrong. I had a friend. He was a pastor. He's about 400 pounds. He said, I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me I needed to lose weight. He says, I got a new doctor. Anybody? And he was a pastor. He's one of my mentors. I love him dearly. I mean, I've tried some different things, but we'll see how it goes. I got to learn to just let go a little bit. And that's what God's put on my heart this way. Just let go a little bit. It'll be okay. But you cannot change what you refuse to confront. I know I'm not perfect. I tell y'all every week I'm not perfect. I know a lot of my flaws. I'm pretty open with most of them. If I refuse to confront it, though, I can't change it. If you got stuff in your life and you're trying to hide it from everybody, you're not hiding it from God anyway. You have to confront it or you can't fix it. If you go to any addiction counseling or for anything, the first thing to do, you got to admit you got the problem. If you don't admit you got the problem, there's nothing to fix. So we need to get in the habit of self-examination. We need to have a come to Jesus meeting with us. I have a shirt that says, if you see me talking to myself, move along. We're just having a staff meeting. You need to have a staff meeting with yourself. A moment of truth. And then pray. Search my heart, God. Test me. See if there's something offensive in my life that offends you. Forget them, but it offends Him, because that's what really matters on the last day. And help me fix it. My friends, what's God saying to you? Not necessarily right this minute, but when you're alone and nobody's around you, what's God saying? What's He showing you? And if you say nothing, that's a different conversation we need to have. Because we're all a work in progress. Don't even be afraid of God, my friends. He already knows. Every time you go to that site you shouldn't, God already knows. Every time you spend that money you don't have to spend, God already knows. Every time you pick up that drink, God already knows. So we shouldn't be afraid of God because He already knows. What we should be afraid of is what sin and deception will eventually cost you. My advice is to start running to Him and quit running away from Him. Or even worse, I love you, Jesus, and you can have most of me. But you can't have my refrigerator. I love you, Jesus. You can have all of this, but you can't have my bedroom. I love you, Jesus. You can have all this, but my cell phone's mine. I can do what I want on my cell phone. He wants it all. He doesn't want part-time custody, my friends. He wants it all. Psalms 51:10 says this, create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Restore me to the joy of your salvation and grant me a willing spirit to sustain me. Is that your prayer today? David sinned. David really, really messed it up. And what I love, I read a book by Max Lucado called Facing Giants. Had a brain fart for a minute. And he talked about David did the Texas two-step in his Christian walk. He'd take one step forward, 2 steps back. One step forward, 2 steps back. But what was he known as? Man after God's own heart. Because he realized he was sinning, where did he always turn? David is a very, very, very good example for us because we're going to mess it up. We're human. But he promises, you're a man after my heart. When you mess up, you know where to turn. Do we know where to turn? Think about this. Listen to this intently. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me. That means put me to the test and know my anxious thoughts, where I'm falling short. See if there's any offensive way in me, not in so-and-so in the back of the room. And lead me in the way of everlasting. Really take that in for a moment. It doesn't say, search me, O God, and let me know what the person in the 3rd row, 4th seat's saying or thinks of me. Who cares? That's their problem. If you want to change your life, you have to first start with changing your habits. And if you want to change your habits, the only way to truly change your habits, because I've tried in my own strength and failed, is to let God change your heart from the inside out. Things that come out of us typically spring from the heart. So if we start changing this little thing that beats mine way too fast sometimes, it's inevitable that the outward will change in time. Now, my friends, it won't change overnight. I have a lady I'm talking to online who's really worried she's going to miss the boat come Judgment Day. And I said, baby, you're on the road. You're on the road. Stay out of the ditch. If you get in the ditch, there's a whole bunch of people here to help you get right back on the road. It's okay. Stay on the road. It's a journey. It's not a sprint. Kevin's been doing this for almost 25 years now. He ain't got it perfect yet either. Some of us have been doing this for their whole lives, 50, 60, 70 years. You ain't got it perfect yet either. I love you. But it is what it is. Let God change your heart, and the habits will follow.